If you could delete one memory permanently, just erase it like it never happened, would you do it? You already picked one, didn't you? I didn't even have to tell you what this video was about. The second I said delete one memory, your brain served one up on a platter. Like it's been sitting in a drawer labeled "Get rid of this first," and it's just been waiting for permission. Maybe it's a person. Maybe it's a night. Maybe it's a version of yourself you wish nobody ever saw. And I'm guessing your first instinct was, yes, of course. Who wouldn't want the pain gone? But I need you to hold that answer. Don't commit to it yet. Because by the end of this video, I'm going to show you something about that memory that's going to make you reconsider. Not because the pain wasn't real, but because what you'd lose along with it might be worse than the memory itself. I'll go first, because I think it's only fair. When I was 19, I lost someone I thought I was going to spend my life with. Not to death. To a phone call, 3 minutes. That's all it took. I was standing in a parking lot outside a gas station off Route 33 near Lancaster, Ohio. It was February. Cold enough that I could see my own breath, which was useful because it was the only proof I was still alive. She told me she'd been seeing someone else for 2 months. 2 months. Every time I'd kissed her, held her hand, talked about our future, the whole thing was already dead, and I was the only one who didn't know. I remember the exact gas pump I was standing next to. Pump 6. I remember the smell of diesel. I remember the way the fluorescent light above me was buzzing and flickering, and I thought, even this light can't hold itself together right now. That memory followed me for years. It was the first thing I thought about when I woke up and the last thing that played before I fell asleep. I carried it like a stone in my chest. So, yeah, if you'd asked me at 20, 21, even 23, would you delete that memory? I would have said yes before you finished the sentence. But here's the thing. Nobody tells you about the memories you want to burn. They're load-bearing walls. Pull one out, and you don't know what collapses with it. So here's what researchers actually discovered when they studied this exact question. They gave people a choice, hypothetical obviously, to permanently erase their most painful memory. And just like you probably did 30 seconds ago, the overwhelming majority said yes. Immediately, without hesitation. But then they did something clever. They asked a follow-up. Now tell us, what did that experience teach you? What part of who you are today can you trace back to that moment? And this is where it got disturbing. Almost every single person could directly connect their worst memory to something they valued most about themselves. The woman whose father walked out? She said it made her the kind of mother who never misses a school play. Delete the memory. Delete that mother. The man who got fired publicly in front of his whole team? He said that humiliation was the reason he started his own company. Delete the memory, delete the company. The person who survived abuse? They became a crisis counselor. They've saved lives. Delete the memory, and those lives don't get saved. The pain didn't just hurt them, it built them. And the version of themselves they're most proud of? It doesn't exist without the version they most want to forget. That's not poetic. That's a psychological finding. And it's terrifying. So let me go back to my memory. Pump 6, February, Lancaster, Ohio. If I delete that phone call, here's what goes with it. I lose the 6 months I spent completely alone afterward. And I know that sounds like a bonus. Like, great, erase that too. But those 6 months were the first time in my life I was forced to sit with myself. No relationship to hide in. No one to perform for. Just me and all the parts of myself I'd been outsourcing to other people. I started writing during that time. At first, it was garbage. Just anger and self-pity in a spiral notebook I bought at a Dollar General on East Main Street in Columbus. But somewhere around month 3, the writing got honest. And the honesty turned into something I didn't expect. I started to actually know who I was. Not the version I'd been performing for her. Not the version my friends expected. Me. The real one. The one who's talking to you right now. If I delete that memory, I delete the 6 months. If I delete the 6 months, I never start writing. If I never start writing, I never figure out who I am. And if I never figure out who I am, I'm probably still out there right now, morphing into whatever shape the next person needs me to be. That memory didn't just break me. It was the first domino that led to everything I actually like about my life. And here's my opinion that I know some people won't agree with. We don't actually want to delete the memory. We want to delete the feeling of not being enough that came with it. Those are two very different things. The memory is data. The feeling is the wound. And we're so desperate to stop the bleeding that we're willing to amputate the entire limb, even though that limb is the one we use to reach for everything good in our life. I actually ran this test informally. Not in a lab, nothing official. Just conversations. Last year, I sat down with 11 people I know personally. Friends, family, a couple of people I grew up with around Columbus and Dayton. I asked every one of them the same question. If you could permanently delete one memory, which one and why? Every single person had an answer within 10 seconds. 10 seconds. For the most painful moment of their lives. That tells you how close to the surface these things live. But here's what happened when I asked the follow-up. What would you lose along with it? My buddy Terrence grew up in East Dayton, rough neighborhood. His instant delete was the night he watched his older brother get arrested when he was 12. Cops on the lawn, neighbors watching. He said he's never felt that kind of shame since. But when I asked what he'd lose, he got quiet. Then he said, "That's the night I decided I was going to college. That's the night everything changed." He's an engineer now. 2 kids. Coaches Little League on Saturdays. Delete the lawn. Delete the engineer. My cousin Bria wanted to erase the year her parents' divorce turned the house into a war zone. She was 15, sleeping on friends' couches, eating school lunch as her only meal some days. But that year? That's the year she learned to take care of herself. That's the year she developed the independence that got her a scholarship, got her out of Ohio, got her a life she actually chose. She paused for a long time. Then she said something that I haven't been able to get out of my head. I hate that year, but I don't exist without it. 9 out of 11 people changed their answer after the follow-up question. 9 out of 11. They walked in ready to delete. They walked out holding the memory tighter than before. The other 2 still said yes. And I'll come back to that. Those 2 people who still said yes after everything, I didn't argue with them. Because here's my take, and it's not a comfortable one. If someone would still erase who they are just to stop the pain of remembering how they got here, that tells you the wound hasn't been processed. It's still open. It's not that they're wrong. It's that the memory hasn't been integrated yet. It's still living in their nervous system as a raw, active threat. Not a scar, a wound. And I think that's the real test. Not, would you delete it, but have you survived it yet? Because there's a difference between a memory you carry and a memory that carries you. One is weight, the other is a hostage situation. And if you're still being carried, that's not a reason to delete. That's a signal to get help. Real help. Not a thought experiment. So let me ask you again. That memory you picked at the beginning of this video, the one your brain handed you in under 5 seconds, you still want to delete it? Pause. 3 full seconds. Some of you just changed your answer, and some of you didn't. Think about what that says about where you are in your healing. Most people still say yes, even after everything I just said. Think about what that says about us.